Okay, so this is page 10. We just got done with evaluating functions. So what we reviewed is that sometimes we'll get a function and they'll want us to plug one number in and tell them what we get out of the function. And then sometimes they might give us a bunch of x values and we have to find the function for all of them, which we use a table because that keeps things organized. So we can either do it a bunch of times, or here we just did a function and one number at a time. So now on page 10, we're doing what is called composite functions. And what is happening is there is a function inside of a function. There's a function in a function. Function in function. So we will send, this probably won't make sense now, but it will once we do a few examples. We will send the result from the inside function through the outside function. So we're going to have two functions, and one will be inside of the other one. So this graphic is very hard to see what's happening, but they're just trying to give you a basic example of what they're talking about. So in this first function, they put a sphere in and get out a cube. So they're saying, okay, you put a number in, you get out a different number. So we put a sphere in, we get out a cube. And then we put that cube directly into another function, and it spits out a disco ball. Yeah. So goes through two functions. The key on this is that you do the inside one first. So I'm going to make me a little note here. Inside function first. Oops, forgot the I. So sometimes I like to think about this as a sandwich. And I got to figure out what goes in my sandwich before I can make my sandwich. So the first one gives us two functions. Make sure that you feel good about where the functions are. So I'm just going to choose a couple of colors so I can try to make this as clear as possible. So one function is named f, and he's just x squared. Then your other function is g, and he is x plus 5. So they're giving us two functions. Now what this thing down below is saying, so I'm going to write this bigger so that it's even clearer than it already is. A is asking us to find f of g of 3. Say what? So in this case, G is inside F. This is an example of where G, the function G, is inside of the function F. So they are telling us we must find this first. And we already know how to do that because we've done whiteboard questions on it and we just did a quiz on it, and you guys did really well on that quiz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say G of 3 equals. So notice I've taken it out of the sandwich. G of 3. Okay, well G is this guy. So they want us to plug 3 into that and add 5, because the function is x plus 5, so we're plugging in this 3 into the G. Are you guys okay? Was that a yes? Okay, what do we get? 8. Now, this is what seems to be confusing people the most. We're now going to plug this into F. So we're going to take F right here, and we're going to bring them down. And now we're going to find F of 8. We're plugging this directly in to the outside function. That's the same 8. The 8 that I get out of G is the 8 that I plug into F. Well, F was x squared. So what I do on this one is I take that 8 and I square it. So what is 8 squared? 64. So we've done two separate functions here. We found the function of G at 3 and then plugged that result into this outside letter, which is F. So this example on B is the opposite. They have F inside of G, which means we need to do F first. We do what is on the inside first. So we're going to take F of -2. Well, it's still x squared. It's still this function. So we do -2 squared. What do we get? No, you didn't use parentheses. What is it really? Somebody use parentheses and tell me. 4. You gotta use parentheses. Oh, and this, some people are doing this. That's a no. You gotta put the parentheses around what you plugged in, not around the whole thing. Know what I'm saying? Okay, now we're gonna take that and plug it into G. So we're now finding G of 4. We take this outside letter and evaluate that last. Well, this is just 4 plus 5. So what does that give us? 9. So if I continue on with my color coding, I can just show you here that the first thing I did was the blue function, and then I plugged that into the orange function that I highlighted. So you're always going to do two separate functions. You don't plug it into F and then plug it into F again. You're normally doing two different functions. You're hanging in? Was that a yes? Okay. Now on number 2, our functions get much more complicado. So the first one's easy, x minus 3. The second one you guys probably think is still easy. It's just a little bit more complicated than that other one. So this guy is h, and he's 2x squared minus 3x plus 6. Okay, based off what you see here, what should we find first? Or G of 7, which is 7 minus 3, which equals 4. So we did the green function first because it was inside. Who was, or what was it inside? H. See how H is hanging out there on the very outside? So we're going to bring H down. He's like the bread in our sandwich. We know we have to put 4 in the sandwich. Well, H is the bread. It goes on the outside. So H of 4. Okay, well that's going to be 2 parenthesis 4 squared minus 3 parenthesis 4 plus 6. So that is now the function that I highlighted in blue. What does that guy equal? 26? Cool, 26. Okay, then our last one is a root and a quadratic. So this time I have G is 3x squared. And I have F is root x minus 2. Which one do I find first, F or G? G, because it's inside. Forgot to write this one was outside on my notes. Inside, outside. Okay, so G of 3 is 3 times 3 squared. And notice how I used my parentheses. See how the parentheses is only around the number I plugged in. Bless you. What does that give you? Holy 27. Okay. Now what? F. Oh my Lord. We're on F. F of 27. Now be careful, fam, that you put that whole thing under the root if you're using your calc. Do you need a reminder? It's blue button, x squared button. Remember, the x squared is kitty corner to the 7. So if you want to get the root, it's blue button, x squared button. You plug in 27 minus dose. What do you get? 5. Are you sure? Okay, you ready to try some whiteboards? Okay, make sure that you really try them, please. I had to do a lot of yelling yesterday. A maximum amount of yelling. Ow. Okay. F of x is negative 2x minus 4. G of x is x squared minus 10. Find G of f of 5. Okay, there it is. So, just to clarify, when you write your answer on your whiteboard, it is only going to be one number. So see how for this whole problem, I only boxed the last number that we got, 64, or 9, 26, and 5. You don't have to give me the in-between number. You just give me the final answer. Does that make sense? Okay, there it is again. $20. $10. $5. $3. $2. Okay, show me what you're thinking. It's looking like 186. So when you plug in f of 5, you get 15. No, if you plug in, oh, duh. Okay, f of 5 is negative 14. Then 14 squared, I don't know what that is 196. And then you subtract 10, so that's 186. So it was 186. Okay, next one. G of H of negative 8. Oh, just kidding. Do positive 8. Don't plug in a negative. You dirty rat. I didn't think that one. Yeah, plug in a positive 8. So sorry. Okay, 10. 5. 3. 2. Okay, show me. 4. Okay, this last one is a negative 2. This will be our last one. So do plug in a negative 2 as your base. Okay, roughly 10. 5. 3. 2. Okay, show me. Negative 51. Okay. So this matches quiz 03, the back side. I think there's only 5 problems. I'm going to give you 10 minutes because we're going to do another thing today. Okay, go.